Twice a week, Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay dissect the biggest topics in Black culture, politics, and sports on their show, Higher Learning. They discuss the most important and timely conversations while also frequently inviting guests on the podcast and occasionally debating each other. Check out Higher Learning on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
That was tough. The first rose that I have given out as the Bachelor was rejected. One of my biggest fears is being rejected, and it's important for me to understand that love is a two-way street. Even though I'm the Bachelor, I still have to win the hearts over of these women, and just hoping that what I give, I can receive back. So I'm scared that this is how it's gonna be. This is not the way that I was hoping to start my journey to find love.
Welcome to Bachelor Party. It's premiere night. I'm Juliet Litman. I'm here with Callie Curry. Hi, Callie.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. How was your holiday?
It was great. How was yours?
It was great, thank you. I went to Mexico, feeling refreshed, ready to go. I actually do feel like Michelle's season was a long time ago. By the way, my colleague, Amelia, she saw Michelle and Nate at Starbucks in Minneapolis on Christmas, I think, or Christmas Eve, and said they were really nice. She talked to them.
Interesting.
So isn't that nice?
Yeah, nice. They're still actually together.
I know.
I wonder if they have perused the $2 million houses in Minnesota.
They probably have. Also, sorry, we're going to talk about Clayton, but just need to note that Michelle, Joe, and Nate were all hanging out, which is weird to me, but okay. And more importantly, I think on New Year's Eve, Michelle went to a party DJ'd by DJ James Kennedy from Vanderpump's Rules in Minneapolis.
That's so random. How long ago did they film? It's been like 6 months, right?
Yeah, they filmed over the summer. It was like from July to September. So,
Sally was able to apply for The Bachelor and get on in 6 months. So people move on in 6 months. So maybe not that weird for them.
More on that in a second. But first, it's Clayton season. We are officially in a new Bachelor season. It's a whole new era. It's kind of like a retro era, but I mean, we're here. What do you think? Clayton, how are you feeling about him?
I am so excited for this season.
What makes you excited? I'm really glad to hear that. I'm also kind of surprised.
I feel like there is like, I don't know if it's like the toxic masculinity that has surrounded me for so long, but like, I just like The Bachelor more than The Bachelorette.
You're saying it's like your internalized misogyny that you feel like makes you like The Bachelor more?
Yeah. I think it's more believable that a guy could fall in love with 30 girls than a girl can fall in love with 30 guys. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see a guy have 30 girls fighting over him more than a girl, especially like Michelle was so classy. Like, it just wasn't as fun, you know?
No. These women do seem like they're like ready to go, but they also seem like a pretty formidable bunch. I don't know. I thought it was like a good beginning. We'll talk about them. But in general, I'm embarrassed, but I like Clayton. I didn't want this to happen, but I just do. It's how I feel.
Okay. So I will say we're like, 65 minutes in? 65 minutes in, like Clayton more than I thought I would. He does seem like a good guy. His teeth do sit on top of each other a little bit. But outside of that...
Just to be clear, that's what teeth are supposed to do. Sit on top of each other.
No, they're supposed to like fit like a glove. Like one on top, one a little snug under. Just a tad. His are perfectly on top of each other.
Like he has no underbite at all, is what you're saying.
No under or over bite.
Right. There's no bite. It's just, just teeth knocking into each other. Okay. His teeth seem to come up. But like Rachel was like, he has really nice teeth.
Well, he has perfect teeth. They just sit on top of each other. So it's a lot of teeth.
Do you think he still wears a retainer at night? Probably does.
I don't think so. He might have a permanent one in. He needs like a little bit of headgear. That will fix that jaw right up. Trust
like
me,
a teen.
I wore headgear. So
as a teenager or like as an adult?
How old was I? I want to say I was probably like 16.
At what point in a relationship do you feel comfortable, or like did you feel comfortable being like, I have a retainer, hope you don't mind that I'll be wearing it?
Definitely wasn't wearing a retainer at the point where I was able to sleep in a bed with a boy. So I don't know, but I think that it's
kind of an intimate thing.
Yeah, I think that by like boyfriend and girlfriend status, you're able to do that.
Yeah, you have to have like defined it though, because otherwise it's just not sexy, unfortunately.
No, it's not. Also, the type I wear was horrible.
Well, because like anyone who does like Invisalign or Smile Direct Club or whatever, like all of those have retainers you have to wear for a long time. So that's why I brought it up. And Clayton's teeth are like their focus. But anyway, okay.
I have a permanent retainer, so I feel like that's the way to go.
Sure, but not everyone has that. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, Clayton, I like him. I kind of found him attractive. I can't believe I'm saying it because I just like previously thought he was just like a mound of human. Like I just like had no feelings. But I was kind of like, I was sort of into him. I'm really embarrassed by this. I don't
think it's embarrassing. I do agree that he originally came off like a thumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe because you're seeing more of his personality. Like with Michelle, we didn't get it. So that's all you saw was like a thumb. But now you see a little bit more personality. You see he's nice. You see he can, talk to a whole bunch of different women. I thought he did good in all his conversations. I think he's great. He seems like a great guy.
He does. And I had heard that like he was a really good guy. We just didn't get to see it. I thought he was very sweet with his mom. First of all, lovely home. A lot of light in that house. I liked it.
Great light.
I'm not crazy about the like sort of as soon as you walk in, like the split level, like you have like a landing. I don't love that, but that's, just personal preference. I thought his parents' house looked really nice and his mom seemed really sweet. I did think it was weird that they were both being filmed and he was doing a selfie video, but they used both footage.
I don't know if this is weird, but I was like staring into her because I'm like, is this really a surprise? Did she know? Did she not know? I was like trying to figure it out. I couldn't. She seemed shocked.
I think it was a surprise. I think it was a surprise. But his dad seemed to know. So I guess they just like wanted to surprise his mom.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, I guess like, moms tend to like want their kids to get married and have babies more.
Okay, so I was going to ask you this. Like, if you are a parent, which you are, but like, let's imagine in 30 years, 25 years, whatever, like, do you want your child to go on this show to find love? Like, is that the way that you want your son or daughter to get engaged? Like, are you excited if your child comes home and is like, Mom, I'm the next Bachelor, I'm the Bachelorette? Like, how do you respond to that?
I think that my kid would know not to surprise me with cameras. That's for sure. I'm definitely taking the Justin's parents' approach. I know.
No, we're not doing it.
This is a bad idea. I don't want people to I don't think I would do. I'm like really bad with criticism of my family. I've gotten way better. I don't care as much anymore. But when I was younger, I was really bad. I can't imagine what I'm going to be like as a mom.
Yeah. And I think that's like a natural response. But I was just, Clayton's mom like seemed so excited. She was like, what? And she was like, seemed so happy.
I think it's a little different. He's already gone on the show. So like they were already cool with that. So for him to be the Bachelor, they're probably like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Now you're like the main character.
Right. You were famous.
A very small side dish before.
Now you're the whole entree.
Now you are the entree and you're putting little Eureka on the map.
I was wondering if the local news really happened like that or if they just like pretended.
No, it 100% happened. I feel like it always happens like that. Eureka?
I guess.
Yeah, it's like the coolest thing to happen in a long time, I'm sure.
I mean,
no offense to Eureka. I've never been there, but he kept saying it's small town. It's small town. It's small town. So
yeah, have you ever been to St. Louis?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems like a nice city. I could see that happening. It does seem it's like kind of like quiet there. My brother went to law school in St. Louis. So that's why I've been there.
Yeah, St. Louis doesn't seem like as like busy and as like a normal big city, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it like used to be busier. I'm just looking at where Eureka is. It's to the west. So in case you're wondering, further from the the Illinois side. Anyway, there's a Six Flags there. It's where Six Flags is, the St. Louis one. So he probably grew up going there all the time. I thought he seemed great. And then I really liked his lavender t-shirt that he was wearing when he talked to Insane Sally, who we'll come back to. But before, Jesse Palmer, what'd you think of our new host?
I think I texted you this, but like as I was watching it, I was like, really don't hate him. Also,
I found him soothing.
Yeah, it was nice to have one host.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna do great. I think he brings like a little younger energy. Him and Clayton are like a little bit too like
exactly the same. Because so many people DM me being like, are there two bachelors?
They look a lot alike. They're too thick. That's the only thing that I'm like, it's a little much, like too much.
This like sort of like generic high school football player guy.
Yeah. Also, apparently he played football at my alma mater. Go Gators.
Who was his coach when he was at the Gator, when he was at Florida?
I mean,
he was drafted in 2001. So was that Urban Meyer? Urban Meyer area or before?
No,
gotcha.
Before. I said no, like I know that. I don't even know that, but I'm assuming.
I really like that both Jesse Palmer and Clayton seem like nervous about being in their roles. Like I felt like Clayton like multiple times was like, why do I deserve this? I don't know. Like he kind of kept focusing on why he got to be the Bachelor because he just didn't, he didn't get a lot of screen time. And also at the same time, Jesse Palmer, I felt like was doing, they did just the right amount of like reintroducing this man.
Yeah.
And also I did like that he was like, I've never been to the mansion before. Cause that's true. They when he was the Bachelor, they used a different location. They used to move around and stuff. So I thought they did a really good job. And like, I don't know, I just found him kind of calming. My only critique of Jesse Palmer is that he said brother too many times. Like, enjoy it, brother. Have a good time, brother. It's like, okay, we got it. You're folksy. You're going to be good friends with Clayton.
I thought it was, I noticed it too, but I thought it was like we're brothers because we both have been through this franchise. Like, that's what I was thinking. And I was like, that's just a lot. You've probably met him twice.
And also, both like kind of played in the NFL. So in Clayton's like intro package, they showed him in a Seahawks jersey. I just want to note, he was on the practice squad. This is like classic Bachelor. You know the phrase, always a bridesmaid, never the bride. When it comes to the Bachelor, it's always a practice squad, never the squad. Like they never actually make it onto the team except for Clay.
Wait, someone else too.
Jordan Rogers?
No. Remember we were like, he actually played in
and Michelle's season, there was one football guy who had he had a ring with the Patriots. I think his name was like Brian or something. I forgot.
I don't think he lasted very long.
No, he was gone like very early. But like it's so rare that, and like with Colton too. I guess Colton also like kind of technically was. I think he was a practice squad player too. But they just like had to throw in that Seahawks Seahawks picture. And I asked Mina Kimes, who's a friend of the pod, and she's on ESPN, a noted Seahawks fan. I was like, was he really on the Seahawks? And she didn't remember him. So then I knew it wasn't real. She didn't know. So
I feel like it didn't even like I didn't even like Google. I kind of knew. You just know.
I know, because like if they're actually in the NFL, that would be out there. They'd be like, oh, he's actually made it. But
I feel like they'd show like a highlight.
Sure. I will say I have no idea like what Clayton does now. Like I don't even remember what they said like his job was when he was on Michelle's season. Like I don't even know. Like I'm just like, okay, he's just like reality TV guy. I guess they said he was a sales representative, but like for what? Who knows?
How many followers does Clayton have? Do we know? Currently
on Instagram?
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up. This is after the first night on the East Coast. Stand by for the answer. My most recent search, he's at the top of my list, is Clayton. He currently has 128,000 followers. That's very low.
Yikes.
For reference, Nate has 276. Also very low.
Wow. I feel like that. He started out with like 40.
Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like that's a big gain.
It definitely is, but I'm just saying like these are still small numbers.
Yeah.
But Anyway, I thought they did a great job with introducing these two dudes, and I'm excited about it. I just, for some reason, found Jesse Palmer, like I said, soothing. I was just like, oh yes, this is a man who, this is probably the pinnacle of his career. He probably knows it. He seems happy about it, and he's just like, he just sort of is like blending in. Like I used to find Tayshia and Caitlyn to be a distraction, and I felt like Jesse just sort of like blended into the background in a good way. Like when he came out to grab the first impression rose, I had like kind of forgotten about him. I was like, oh, right, there's a host of this show.
I know, it's kind of weird. I don't think we're used to that because they like kind of integrated Caitlyn and Tayshia too much into the show. Like would have them like go have a chat with Michelle randomly or whatever, or have chats with the guys. So I do like that they're going back to the old format.
Me too.
And I think, A+ for Jesse.
Agreed.
Still would have loved David Spade, but Jesse will do.
We love you, David Spade. Kind of forgot about him. Feels like such a long time ago. Here we are in COVID season 3, and David Spade's like totally middle of season 2. Anyway, we must now turn to Insane Sally. And Sally is the one who was previously engaged. It's like a reset of the show. Very much going back to like the sort of, this like a white all-American guy look and whatnot. Although I do think that the casting seems promising this season, but nevertheless, it's a return to their own form, and yet totally breaking the rules within the first 30 minutes of the show. Sally, previously engaged, wants to leave. And so 5 hours before the rose ceremony, she goes to Clayton's hotel room where he's wearing his lovely lavender t-shirt. And she explains to him that she really wants to stay, but she's not sure she can because that day was supposed to have been her wedding day. And I just have so many questions. Like nothing about this makes sense.
I was just like, wow, really fast turnaround. Like you were able to apply, interview, get cast, and go to the back. Like it just seems like really fast.
So she had to have been in the dating pool, is my guess. Because I think
like she applied like a long time ago.
Yes. And then they like must have like gone back to her. But even then, I'm like, how long ago was this? Like, how do they know about her? She must have been in the contestant pool already. Like Greg had been in the pool for a long time too. Like he almost went on Claire's season and then ended up on Katie. So like they kind of like keep people in the mix. But like Sally, how long were you dating your fiance before you got engaged?
Didn't she say we fell in love fast?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She didn't give a lot of specifics, but yes.
I also went to Sally's Instagram.
Oh, what'd you learn?
She doesn't have a lot of pictures. Okay. And
maybe she took them down in advance of this.
Maybe, but also she didn't post for almost like a year or like 7 months, something like that, and then posted randomly 4 times. But which I'm sure is also like in prep for this.
Yeah.
But she posted pictures and I can't tell if she just takes pictures really close to guys or if she has a boyfriend.
Yeah, there's like this one guy in a lot of her pictures, but also like
could be her ex. I don't know.
Yeah, this is like these pictures are from September 2020, but there's like a lot of guys around. I can't really tell.
Yeah,
as you said. Although I don't know, this is like there's like a couple's picture. This has to be her guy.
And then there's like one where she's like in a hot tub and sitting in front of him. I'm like, could that just be a random guy? I don't know. I'm not like a touchy-feely person, so to me, I'm like, oh, her boyfriend. And then I kept looking, and I'm like, maybe not.
I know it's hard. It's hard to tell.
No, January 2021. I guess that was a year ago.
It seems for sure like whoever it was, the hot tub picture. That's got to be her former fiance. Yeah, her ex. And he's not on Instagram because she doesn't tag him at all, so we don't know anything about him.
And they filmed when?
They filmed this from September, like middle of September to the middle of November. So she was supposed to like, and these pictures she have with him are like from a year ago or whatever. So they must have dated and gotten engaged within a year. So.
Okay.
I don't know, Sally. Also, just the fact that her name is Sally sounds so fake. Like, I was just like, is that really your name?
It is her name. Also, I feel like she is cuter, which I guess a lot of people are, but I feel like she looks cuter on Instagram. Like, I feel like she was probably crying a lot on the show and like we didn't get the best version of Sally.
I think her makeup looks really nice on Instagram. Or also when she's not wearing makeup. She's just like a really pretty girl.
Yeah.
And she looks great in her pictures. What I was most confused about was like why production wanted her to stay. Because obviously Clayton hadn't met her yet. So when she knocks on his door, like couldn't be more awkward because he's just like, okay, stranger, come on in. And then he's immediately switches into Bachelor mode. He grabs her hand. He's like rubbing her leg. I'm just like, this is a weird thing to do with a literal stranger.
I also am like, why did she get to do that? That's cheating.
I know. And the fact, I think all the women, they should have deserved to know that he already tried to hand out a rose and was rejected. I mean,
like Teddy, you're really not first impression.
Yeah, I know. Teddy, you're number 2. It's a great point. Like he should have had to tell them, like he's going to tell them later on that he's been intimate with 3 of them. Also, he should have to admit that he tried to give someone a rose and she said no. It's like, that was honestly so fucking funny. I was watching it in an airport lounge and I was just like saying to myself over and over again, this bitch. And I was just like, are you kidding me?
I also think production probably was like, give her a rose.
Oh yeah.
And then when she said no, he was probably like, are you fucking kidding me?
He made the same face to Sally that he did to Claire, the one who said that she hated him, which is also so funny. I don't think The Bachelor's ever received this much like negative reinforcement in the first episode, but he makes this face where he like squints his eyes. It's almost like, it's like a meme. It's like the new like blinking guy face.
Or have you seen the Nick Young? Like,
yes, it's just like that. It's so funny.
I feel like he's like, did I mishear you? Can't be what I think you said.
You just turned me down. I loved it. The first rose he handed out, he was rejected. But
do you think Sally comes back?
No, I do not. I think that's the end of Sally.
Okay.
Because, I mean, she was barely even on the show. But I just don't understand like what was so good about Sally that production so desperately wanted her to stay. Because they usually also have like alternates, right? Because clearly production was like, go tell him. Maybe he'll change his mind.
Because he still had 30 women.
That's true. I wonder who got swapped in.
Yeah, we should know that also. Very last minute ad.
Yeah, like you weren't supposed to be on the show, but you got it anyway.
Production had to have really wanted her because they also had to have told her where his room was and followed her with cameras.
Yeah, of course.
And
I wonder what
it
is about her.
A rose.
Maybe she just seemed like really wacky. I don't know. Like there was nothing so special about Sally that I got in that time, except for the fact that she had the balls to reject him. I loved it. I can't imagine
cried
saying
a
no.
bunch.
How long do you think that took? Like, and who did she call? Do you think she called her mom?
Her sister? Does she have a sister? I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know anything about Sally. I feel bad that I called her
being
insane.
Her mom.
I just like the other thing that's so crazy, not only the way that he was just sort of like, I thought the way that he was touching her, a stranger, to be creepy. Like that's actually not appropriate, but it's like, that's just like literally the Bachelor's love language. But
I
also
didn't see the connection. I thought that was weird.
Yeah. I haven't seen him have a connection really with anyone.
You have a strong connection with her and she's telling you essentially that she's still in love with her ex.
I do think that Clayton tries to be respectful. He's like, you seem like a really great lady. And I thought that was really funny. But like sweet. It made me like him.
Did he say lady?
Yeah, I believe so.
I in a while.
I thought it was really nice and I like noted it. And I was like, wow, or maybe he said woman, but he was like very formal. He didn't call her a girl. He was respectful. I liked it. But the thing is like, how long did that take too? Like when she was like, I'm sorry, that took longer than I was expecting. Like how long was she on the phone for? Like an hour?
Probably 45 minutes.
Yeah. And production's probably like, you need to get off the phone because tonight's the night. Like the show is happening.
Also, Clayton's probably like, what? Can I take the rose back?
Oh, that reminds me. What I was going to say is like, I thought the way that he was touching her was weird, but moreover, if I'm her, just like crying to a rando and like sharing that with someone I've never met, that's a no-go for me. Like, that's like absolutely not happening. I'm not just going to like random guy in front of cameras and be like, I was supposed to get married today and I'm having a really hard time.
Yeah, no, me either. I would have just left.
Yeah, it was just, that's why I was like,
I probably would have
bitch.
told production in the car.
Yeah.
Like, hey, by the way, I checked out. I unfortunately won't be able to make it this year. keep me in the pool.
Keep me posted for next year. Or maybe just send me straight to Paradise. I do think this makes Sally eligible for Paradise, though, because she's like appeared.
Do we think that Sally could be the next Bachelorette? I wrote that down.
Oh, interesting. Sally as Bachelorette. I like that.
Because I'm like, she's a cute girl.
Mm-hmm. She's from the South. We know that plays.
From the South. Probably going to go back white.
Mm.
And I'm like, why would they force her to be on? And
I know.
Obviously, Clayton had like 1 minute of fame. It's about the same. Him and Sally were on the screen the exact same amount of time.
But she got like way more like dedicated time. She didn't need like kids to vouch for her.
No, and I could see them being like, she's over her ex. She had that happen, and now she's ready to find love.
She made the biggest mistake of her lifetime, not going on The Bachelor. She's ready for a redemption as the Bachelorette.
I could see it.
I think she has to go to Paradise. I think we need to see her there, and I would be excited about it. Silly Sally. I'm not going to call her insane anymore. It's not nice.
She did provide good TV, so there's that.
She sure did. I hope that Sally's having a great evening. I hope that she enjoyed the show. And Sally, we hope you're feeling better. Onward. Let's talk about the women who actually want to date Clayton, of which there are many. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of my
he had 30 girls come. Only 29 of them wanted to date Clayton because Claire
was like, no thanks, man.
I'm good.
Oh my God. Claire, she looked just like Olivia Caridi to me. Do you remember Olivia? She's from Ben's season. She got left on the island. They they must have hated her because they showed her like face, peach fuzz, like blowing in the wind. That was so mean.
Yeah, I also like remember them like zooming out, and it was like just like a tiny dot.
I know. She was just like alone in a helicopter, and it was like bad weather in the Caribbean. You're like, are you going to be swept away out to sea?
She reminds me of Madison LaCroix.
Oh, okay.
From
former
Southern
paramour
Charm.
Of Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Didn't know where you were going with that, but that's correct.
Isn't that crazy that happened? I can't stand Madison. Didn't like Claire. I was glad Claire was gone. She got really drunk. Claire arrived. She like had prepared something and then decided not to go with it, which was a pretty weird move. A lot of weird entrances we'll come back to. And then she did like a tailgating date because she's a football fanatic, which I think is cute. I will note they were both really bad at cornhole. And I am a bad athlete, but I'm great at cornhole. And like those things were close together. And I was like, you guys got to do better. Like Clayton, you got to do better. You went to fucking an SEC school, as we've been schooled on several times now.
I thought Madison. So, oh my God, I just called her
Claire.
Madison. I thought Claire was really cute. Like I thought she was like very pretty girl. I don't know if she actually is based off her Instagram. She doesn't look like this, but she looked like a fuller figured woman compared to like they usually have like really, really like
tiny,
real skinny. Yeah. And she seemed like more full figured. And I remember her getting out of the limo and I was like, okay, they are just like rounding it out this year.
You know, I agree with you. It seems like maybe that's changed since she's been on the show. And I just want to note she's still like skinny, but yes, she's not
Yes.
She's not. But I totally get what you're saying.
I meant more like curvy than
like a normal sized person, perhaps.
Normal
who eats with abandon.
No, not even normal size because she's probably smaller than normal size, but she's just not skinny. She's like
curvy.
Great. She has a great body. I don't know.
I could see her. I could see her being a Madewell model with like the Madewell jeans.
Okay.
Because they have like try to have a lot of different kinds of bodies in their pictures. It's great. It's helpful when you're shopping their website. And then I don't know why she didn't like him. I guess because he likes wings and she likes flats.
I don't think she disliked him. I think she was wasted.
And maybe he wasn't giving her enough attention.
I think she was wasted, and then like someone interrupted their date, and like she couldn't handle it. She was mad about that, and because he went, she was like, "Yeah, bye, fuck you." Like our date clearly wasn't over, and you're leaving me.
I believe she was interrupted by Mara,
but also for how drunk she was, they didn't really like make her seem that drunk until after the fact. She was probably wasted on their little date, and Clayton was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go." Are you okay?
I thought she seemed pretty drunk. She was like combative. I just feel like that's a type of drunkenness where you get you want to butt heads or whatever. And she was like insulting his choice of wings, which
also she was like, I'm better than you at cornhole.
No. She's like competitive, but like not in a cute way. Like, you know how like you can be competitive and that's like flirting or whatever. It's like, let's make a bet or whatever. But she wasn't doing that in a cute way at all.
Also want to note, for being such a huge football fanatic, not a single pic of football anywhere, nothing football related on her Instagram.
No tailgating. Also, it's the end of college football season. It's the end of tailgate season. You'd think that if she was really so into it, she would have been doing
NFL.
it.
Like, there's a lot happening.
Anyway, Claire, she was out. She didn't even get one of the intro packages. So I'm always curious how they decide who's going to get them. So it was Shanae, who was from the small town. Then there was Gabby, who made the tight end joke. Gabby, she dated both Dean and Blake Horstman. So
wait, what?
That. Yeah.
Wow.
She lives in Denver, where they both lived. So she's like big woman on campus, the campus being Denver.
I mean, she's cute.
Yeah.
By the way, in general,
yes.
Very good looking group of girls.
Yeah, very, very good. Also, pretty diverse, I'd say.
I would say very, like, all different verticals.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was Shanae, Gabby, Rachel, the flight instructor, Daria, the Yale law student, Susie, who lived in Japan and then was Miss Virginia. She's the one who called herself wild. There was Elizabeth, who is a real estate investor or advisor, who I think is one of the women who gets into the fight that you see later in the season, where she's doing the clip thing that Dorinda did on Real Housewives, where she's part of that fight clip. I loved that. Love you, Dorinda. Teddy, more on her in a second. And then of course there was Sally.
Yeah.
Teddy gets the first impression rose. Teddy, I think I've said her name so many times. She's got to be the front runner. He said, she's got me feeling some kind of way. He seems really into her.
When you how we were saying you couldn't see the connection, like he is into Teddy.
He's excited about her. Yeah. Big time. She's really pretty.
Very, very, and also, very.
She was the opposite of Claire. She was like, when I was watching Michelle's season, like I was really into you. So she's like giving him the positive reinforcement that he probably needed on this day.
Do we believe that? Do we believe that she picked him over all of Michelle's guys? That includes Joe, by the way.
I believe it. I believe it because she's also the virgin and she is like, I loved her honesty. She's like, I made this decision when I was very young, probably too young.
Yeah. Also, she's like, I'm not waiting till marriage, but just want to be in love since I've waited so long.
Yeah. I liked that. I was like, it's very honest.
Yeah.
And so like, I feel like she also might be like kind of weirdly idealistic or like immaturely idealistic. So I do believe it. And she seemed excited about him. She really did. We got a lot of her family in her like intro. So she's definitely going far. Like if your family gets to be in that little video, we're like, oh, I guess we'll be seeing them again.
How do they know? Do you think they film everyone and then they choose?
I wonder if they film these after, like once they do the show. Actually, it's a good question though. I'm going to find out.
Okay, great.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they did them after the fact. Although,
would you do it after?
I don't know. Like maybe you're pissed or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they might film everyone and then they pick based on how the season goes.
Maybe, but
then that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and then like Daria, for example, she got sent home night one. I think because she's a cool story. Like if you have got a Yale law student on your show, like you want to highlight that.
Yeah, makes you more legit.
Yeah. And it's like, look, smart people come on the show too. It's not just drunk Claires.
That's fair.
Who else stood out to you? Like, who else were you like, okay, I know, I see you. You'll be going far.
Rachel.
Yes. So Rachel came with Holly, who was like, I'm here for the Senior Bachelor. Yes. I just want to say, I have heard that Senior Bachelor will be happening in 2022. In the same 365 in which you'll be going to a Bills game, there will be the Senior Bachelor.
I hope, because I am down for Senior Bachelor.
It was just so weird how they did that, though, because like they should have had that there was no connection between Holly and Rachel. There was no reason for Rachel to be the one to have this older woman come in. And also, there's no other talk about Senior Bachelor after that. It was just so random.
Yeah, I didn't get the connection. It was weird. I thought that she was going to announce the Senior Bachelor. Like,
yeah, me too. That would have been great.
Reason. But no, just a random 63-year-old.
And then she was just gone. That was it.
Just walked off. I thought she was like, because she said, I'm a mother of 2, I think. And I was like, oh, and this is my daughter, but that never happened.
Yeah, it was, or like, this is my aunt. This is my mom's best friend. My mom couldn't be here, so I brought Holly or something like that.
Nope. Nothing. Was she even a pilot or like anything? I don't know.
So at one point in the episode, Clayton, I keep wanting to say Colton, but Clayton, like he's talked to a lot of the women. He's like saying he's having a great night. And then he says something, I think it's like in his interview, or maybe you don't see him saying it, but he's like, and there's one woman I really wanted to talk to tonight. And then he goes and he grabs Rachel. So like the implication is he was talking about Rachel, but he might not have been. Like it seemed like a real friend. It seemed like really fake and like weird, and there was no other way to introduce Rachel, but it seems like she goes far for sure.
Yes, I liked Rachel. Another one that I liked, but I didn't like their conversation, but based off of like out of the limo I was into it, was Serene.
Yes.
But then she just told on Claire, which I'm like, don't be that girl.
I know. Serene had some drama before the show aired, which was people, like once the bio or the names were released, people were like deep diving on all these women. Serene was in a photo with like friends who were wearing MAGA clothes. And so then she posted a note saying like she doesn't associate with that and like she's not a Trump supporter and whatnot. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. It was pre-election. It's a really bad look. I mean, I don't know. It's just a bad look. I don't know why I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. I think it's because she like wanted to address it so quickly that I'm like, okay, like she's not trying to hide from this. Like she addressed it, but
I think she's gorgeous also.
So you're heartbroken.
Yeah, I am. I also did not like that she used her time to
talk about someone else.
Yeah, I did not like that. But I thought she was so like, she's like stunningly pretty, came out. You could see that Clayton was into it.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Well, heartbreaker.
Let's talk about Kate. Kate, who brought out the whiskey nips. Kate, who works at the Oppenheim Group with Jason and Brett of Selling Sunset. And Kate, who you know, Callie.
Yeah. No. Yes. But
Encountered?
yes, I've met her multiple times.
Do you like her?
Yes. All of my interactions were A+. Have
great.
Not anything bad to say about her. I'm actually super excited to know someone on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is really weird to see someone you know on this show, though.
Like, would you have ever have guessed that she would end up here?
I don't know if I would guess anyone would come on this show. I think it's just, I was texting someone about this. It's just like a strange thing because the premise of the show is to fight over a guy, right?
Yes.
So it's just like weird. But then, you know, she is in real estate and like, I think it's probably great for her career.
Yeah, probably. Also, you know, maybe this will get her on Selling Sunset.
Maybe.
I just didn't understand how she had room for, or like could keep the bottles in her dress. She clearly wasn't wearing a bra. So like, were they just like hanging out in like the cups of her dress? Like how long were they in there for? It
probably
was really
not
confusing.
Long.
No, like
I have to imagine the dress maybe has some sort of sticky because she's not wearing a bra.
I mean,
I was just not. Like, there's no way. I could not trust that.
Of course not.
Especially post breastfeeding. Yeah.
I have no idea what I would even consider wearing to be on this show if I were ever a contestant. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not
so
like a
sparkly
dress person. I don't know if that makes sense, but
like you don't wear dresses when you're going out.
back in the day when I would hit the club, I did wear dresses a lot, but not in recent years. But I also wore like the girliest dress for my wedding. So I feel like for this, I'd probably pick like a really sparkly girly dress.
I think in general, wedding dresses are really girly. So
someone wore like a see-through black dress, and I was really into that.
I think that was Teddy.
Was it?
Well, in my notes, I was like, is Teddy's dress sheer?
Yeah, it must have been Teddy.
And I thought she looked good. She looked really good.
Great. I was really into it.
But I couldn't tell if it was all sheer. Like it clearly,
I think there was like a nude thing underneath, but it looks like it's sheer. Yeah.
I was wondering if the nude thing was like the complete dress or just some portion of it.
That's the look I would go for.
She looked really good. I agree. She looked great. Also, I just like loved her styling. I loved her makeup. I loved her hair. She looked beautiful. I get why Colton was so into her. Colton, his name is Clayton.
How many times is that going to happen?
So many. And I like Clayton a lot more than Colton so far.
I think Clayton's a last name, so that's the problem.
Also, it's just so generic. Like that's like the problem with Clayton, but also like why they chose him is he's generic. He's like all American football player guy. And like, yeah, I think if his name was Clay, it'd be easier for me to remember for whatever reason. Also, Clayton is a part of Missouri. So it's like, was that where he was conceived? I think it's like pretty close to Eureka.
Maybe.
I don't know. Who else stood out to you?
I thought, I guess I'm kind of confused because I thought NC stood out to me.
I liked NC too. I thought she seemed sweet, and I liked how she was incorporating her culture, explaining it to him.
Also, in general, the amount of people on this show or this season that have insanely good hair is crazy.
I know. It's a really pretty group. What did you think about the doctor? I believe that her name was Kira.
Yeah. I
thought she looked hot.
Not for me.
She didn't seem fun though. I didn't feel like she really sold it. Like I think she looked hot, and I was like, good for you for wearing that outfit. But then she just seemed like very stiff, and I don't know if she's gonna thrive. I don't have a lot of hope for her.
Like his physical was like weird to me.
Yeah, it wasn't hot.
She looked hot, but it wasn't hot.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. She didn't have the personality to fit the shtick, the costume or whatever. And like, that's okay. But then like, just be you. I just felt like she was trying to do something that wasn't true to her.
Also, I think you know how we have it? Maybe I wonder if they changed the rules this season on drinking, because there was a few people that I were like, you've had a few drinks.
You've had quite a few.
Night. Like we haven't had that in a while.
No, we haven't, including Gabby, who is the one that dated Dean and Blake.
Yes, Gabby was overserved.
To say the least. She's probably just so happy to not be in the ICU. I mean, all of the healthcare workers on this show, I'm just like, I hope you guys have a great time. Just do you.
So I started when I was writing notes.
Yes.
I had like nurse. And then by the third one, I was like, okay, I guess it's not like because I was going to say, anyone who's a nurse right now, like you deserve this break.
Oh, absolutely.
Also just like inherently makes me like them more because I could never do it.
If you've ever been in the hospital or been with someone in the hospital, you know that nurses make everything happen and take care of everyone.
100%.
And are so important.
By the way, the first time I had a kid, I didn't realize like your doctor comes for the last well, I guess it depends on how long you push for, but I didn't push long with either of my kids. So like the doctor's there for like maybe a total of 30 minutes and you're in the hospital for like 48 to 72 hours. And so like nurses do everything.
I was once in the hospital for several days in a row, and the nurses were unreal. Like they just help you with everything. They help you stand. They help you shower. They do, and like
everything.
It's just everything. It's
like
such a thankless
elves.
job. It's such a thankless job. They don't get enough credit. They don't get enough love. And like, oh my God. It's just.
Why is that, by the way? Like, I feel like people are like, oh, you're a nurse, not a doctor. But I'm like, after my experiences in the hospital, me personally, and then being there with other people, I'm like, I mean, nurses are like what, make or break your stay.
Oh my God, absolutely. And like, they take care of you when you're in like your most vulnerable state. And doctors, they just come and go. I mean, I think it's because it takes less education.
That many stories of like horrible experiences with nurses.
Like, I think it's really gendered. I think it's like because women tend to be nurses and like you take the fact like they're caregivers for granted, or like society does. We don't. Whereas a lot of, not anymore actually, but I think like, you know, historically most doctors were men, but now it's actually changed. Someone DM'd me saying, I was like saying that I don't understand why someone with like a great career like a doctor like Kira would go on the show. And someone DM'd me to be like, it's really hard to date as a doctor, especially for women, because the field has become mostly women. And so like if you want to date another doctor, it's hard. And I could co-sign that because I'd love to date a doctor, and I feel like they're hard to come by, men. So
I mean, yeah, I guess they don't really get out much.
Especially now. It's been a rough 2 years for them. So I don't know.
Going into year 3.
Anyway, season 3. If you pretend it's a TV show, it's not as bad. Anyway, back to The Bachelor. Melina with the Kanga boots, didn't care for that. No thanks. Did she get sent home? No, she didn't. She made it through. I couldn't believe it. Ivana, I was really excited about beforehand. She's the bar mitzvah dancer, and she's the one who did not speak for her entrance.
Yeah.
And that's like a really weird move. You have such little time with the lead. Like, you have to speak. What was she thinking?
And they didn't show her. I mean, I know she got, is kicked off the word? I don't know. Yeah, I know she didn't make it.
Voted out.
Through.
She voted out.
But like, they didn't even show, because like she was like, find out my name inside. I mean, she didn't say it, but like she was saying find out inside. And he did not find out.
No, he really seems to be into the women who are into him. Like, you got to like, he seems to respond to positive reinforcement, not negative reinforcement, which maybe is like normal, but
I think most people are like that.
They respond to positive reinforcement?
Yes.
I'm a sicko, so I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I respond to negative.
By the way, I was going to say, for being a virgin, I thought Teddy was pretty aggressive.
Well, I don't think she wants to be a virgin. She says she regrets it.
I know. I'm just saying she is.
She's done everything but. I think
I feel like she was ready to roll with the kisses.
Totally. I think if the fantasy suite was like tomorrow, she'd be like, yeah, sure. And good for her. Get it, girl.
Yeah. No shame.
Have fun. So they make you think that Genevieve, who's the girl from Massachusetts that was wearing red, she was like very nervous this first episode. She wouldn't get a lot of time. And then they show her a lot in the teaser when Clayton's like, I've been intimate with 3 of you. I've been in love with 3 of you. I'm positive that's a fake out. There's no way Genevieve goes far. She does not have that like effusive energy. Also, he seems to respond to sexual energy. I don't think Genevieve had that in a ton of it this evening. Maybe she was nervous.
Have you seen her Instagram? Lots of sexual energy.
Well, she wasn't putting it out there on the show. I think that's like a real fake out. And I think that like I think like we can assume that Rachel and Teddy definitely go far, but I think that like they're definitely trying to trick us. And yes, wow, this is a lot of sexual energy from Genevieve.
I think Teddy wins. But
I think Teddy wins too. He's really into her.
Yeah. It's like a natural thing that he can't control, I think. But no, I think Genevieve might go far, because when he got the first impression rose, I can't talk tonight. I heard the girls whispering, oh, it's Genevieve. And so I was like, he must have spent more time with her than we saw.
I thought that was weird editing. It did make it seem like it was going to go to Genevieve. I feel like he gave it to Teddy right after talking to Genevieve. And so maybe that's what people thought. But then that's like a real FU to Genevieve. It's like, oh, actually, talking to you made me realize I want to give the rose to Teddy.
It has to be after someone. I guess usually they give it to the person after they talk to that person.
Or like while they're talking to them, like they feel it.
Or at the very end, they'll go and get the rose and then go to whoever they want to give it to.
Right. So who do you think the final 4 are, or final 3? I think it's definitely Rachel and Teddy. And then the other ones, I think it's
Teddy.
Yeah, those 2 are locks.
I think no, that's not right.
Producer Devon and I were discussing perhaps Gabby.
No way. You think?
Sorry, we weren't saying Gabby. I meant Susie.
Oh, okay. So I was about to say Susie, and then I said no.
I don't know. Susie looks like Hannah Brown to me. And I also think she looks way younger than 28. I was shocked that she's 28. And I usually am like, oh my God, they're lying about their age. They're definitely older. But I was like, is she claiming she's older than she is? But Susie seems like she's in the teaser a lot. So I'm just wondering if that means she goes
There
far.
was another like blonde girl.
It's hard to keep track of the blondes. They all look the same. They do. I also like, I can't quite figure out like who are the blondes that get into the fight. I know that one of them is Elizabeth, but is the other one Shanae? I think it's Elizabeth and Shanae, but I'm not positive.
Oh, I think it's Shanae. I think you're right.
Susie, I don't know, just like this wedding videographer. I just feel like they can have a lot of fun with that.
Okay, so our final four, our collective final four is Susie, Teddy, Rachel, and
I don't know who the fourth is. That's a real toss-up for me. I really don't know. I mean, I'd like for it to be Kate. I doubt it.
I don't see that.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I think the fourth spot is like wide open to me right now. I don't think it's going to be Elizabeth.
I'm going to go
Shanae.
Genevieve. I know you think it's a fake out, but I'm going to go Genevieve.
Okay. Interesting. I have no idea who I think the fourth is going to be. I hope it's NC. I like her, but I doubt it. She didn't really get a lot of time. I liked her a lot, though. Lindsay W. looked like a total cross of Georgia from Ginny and Georgia and Jamie Lynn Spears to me.
Sarah was so pretty. Oh my gosh, there's so many really, really pretty girls this season.
Yeah, Sarah was pretty. All of them are prettier on the show than they looked in these pictures. And then there's a few, and I look back at these pictures, I'm like, who are these people? And that's because they went home. But like,
I don't remember.
But some of these people, I'm just like, I've never seen you before. Like Hunter, never saw her. Samantha, never saw her. I'm like, who is this?
I just remembered something that really stuck out to me that I thought was odd was when Elizabeth gave Clayton the picture of her dead relatives.
That was weird.
Like, I get that they were together for a long time, but like, it's still like weird to give someone a picture of people that have passed away. Also, I was like,
also, it's meaningless to him. He doesn't know you. He doesn't know them. Like, who cares?
But like, do you get it back? Like, are you going to have to like knock on his and Teddy's house and be like, hey, I need that picture back?
Maybe. I hope it was a photocopy or something. I was thinking about that too. I was like, don't give away this precious photo. Are there more of these?
Yeah, like it seemed like a very real photo. Like I think it was like, the sepia, like, those old school photos. And I'm like, that's like, all I kept thinking about was like him and Teddy are going to get married and he's just going to like find that picture one day and be like, haha, Elizabeth gave me this on night one. Isn't that weird?
It reminded me like the original Instagram filter when like you would just put things in like sepia tones and you're
I have
like,
a ton.
Yeah. That's just like what people did in like 2012. That was just like what you filtered your photo and then you put it up. Back in the day, now the kids have moved on to TikTok. Also, like a lot of cars. There was Jane in the vintage car. Then there was Cassidy in the tiny car. And then Shanae in the monster truck. So there's just like a lot of cars happening.
I think that happens every season. Like there's always like a horse, a tiny car, a big car, a fire truck, a little fire truck.
I prefer that. This is like random cars kind of, but whatever. The monster truck, I guess, was sort of fun. Also, I thought the weirdest though was the electrocution thing, was like having the
I thought the weirdest was the not talking of
that
Ivana.
was a real waste of an opportunity. She has to regret that now. It's tough. That was really tough. I also was really hoping for some like more I was really hoping for some more bar mitzvah talk.
But we didn't get any talk.
I know, no talk. Okay, so that if that's our final four, who do you see being the Bachelorette?
Sally.
Other than Sally.
I really think it's going to be Sally. Like that's a real prediction. But if it's not Sally, I am going to go with what's her name? Susie.
I think Susie too. That seems like a good one. She was the one who did the electricity, by the way. So,
but also, can they do Susie when she looks so much like Hannah Brown? It's kind of like a repeat. I would love
Hannah Brown's
for them.
very popular.
I would love for them to do like NC.
NC's so pretty. I'm into her.
Or Sarah. You know? Switch it
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, sure. That would be
They're
great.
both gorgeous.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I just hope we get to see more of them on the show.
I think Teddy wins, but if she doesn't win, she's got to be in the Bachelor franchise somewhere.
I think Teddy wins too. And she's got a good smile. I liked her. Good
I liked her
premiere.
too.
I thought it gave me everything I wanted. Also, thank the Lord it wasn't 3 hours. I'm so happy there was no like live component. Thank you so much, ABC. We appreciate it.
Great premiere, great preview. We are excited.
Is the national championship game next Monday? Usually the second episode gets messed up. I think it's on Tuesday next week. So we'll plan accordingly. Thank you so much to Devon Manze for producing this episode. I'll be back on Thursday. And we hope you enjoyed. Welcome to 2022, a new era of The Bachelor.
Woohoo! Let's go.